KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local
The time is 10 a.m.
And a good morning. Thank you for tuning into the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. This is Dory, and we invite you to listen to our broadcast both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel, Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and noon each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader, Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. And we begin with realizing that as February, American Heart Month, is coming to a close, it is important to focus on women's heart health. According to the CDC, a woman dies every minute of heart disease in America. Danielle Morrow, a nurse practitioner with Lake Regional Health System, said while men show typical signs and symptoms of a heart attack like chest pain, shortness of breath, sweating, and pain down the arm, women are more subtle. With women, they tend to have what we call atypical symptoms, and these are mostly things that you wouldn't relate to a heart attack because women will tend to have this sudden onset of feeling very unwell. almost a sense of impending doom, said Morrow. She said symptoms for women include a sudden onset of shortness of breath, stomach pain, or an upset stomach, nausea, and abdominal pain. She also said age is a major factor in heart disease in women. Quote, so with women in particular, the risk for cardiovascular disease increases with age because we lose that balance of hormones in our system, said Morrow. We don't realize that estrogen and progesterone are two significant hormones that actually protect us cardiovascular-wise early on in life, so as we go through menopause, that just puts us at a higher risk. Morrow said women often put their worries or concerns on the back burner, but it's essential to listen to your body. She said if something doesn't feel right, go have it checked out. If it's nothing, then you have peace of mind. From the Daily Citizen, the Springfield Daily Citizen, the headline reads, Community in Christian County rallies in support of fallen deputies' families. And the byline reads, this week's manhunt ended with a deceased suspect, 2 fallen sheriff's deputies, and another 2 deputies injured in a shootout. And we see a picture of Sergeant Bill Talley along with Cass County Sheriff's Officer Honor Guard moving a flag to half-staff yesterday in downtown Ozark. The Christian County community is mourning 2 of its sheriff's deputies who were killed this week in the line of duty. Authorities say Deputy Gabrielle Ramirez was fatally shot Monday afternoon while conducting a traffic stop near Highlandville. Law enforcement officers from across the region descended on the area and surrounded the suspect, 45-year-old Richard Dean Bird, in rural Stone County. What follows is a picture of fellow law enforcement officers putting a black tarp on one of the memorial vehicles outside of the Christian County Historic Courthouse. The article continues, authorities say Bird opened fire on the officers. Christian County Deputy Michael Highslope was killed in the shootout. 2 other officers, Christian County Deputy Josh Wall and Webster County Deputy Austin McCall, were shot but survived. Quote, it's obviously a tragic event. One of the worst things we could ever have happened has happened, Christian County Presiding Commissioner Lynn Morris said Tuesday. It's likely the first time the Christian County Sheriff's Office has lost a deputy in the line of duty, he said. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe released a statement yesterday morning describing the shoot as, quote, a terrible tragedy and praising the numerous agencies who's collaborated to take down the suspect. Kehoe then made the trip to Ozark for a press conference where he praised the deputies for their bravery and the agencies for their collaboration. There are plans for donations and memorial, and we see a picture of the 2 fallen officers. Ozark's historic Courthouse Square district has become a memorial site as the fallen deputies' patrol vehicles are parked outside and have been adorned with flowers. The Christian County 100 Club has been in contact with the families of Ramirez and Highslope and plans to help support them financially. We next see a picture of 2 ladies outside of the memorial on the square for the 2 fallen officers. Christian County's 100 Club made its first donation in July of 2025 to the family of Sheriff's Deputy Michael Adams, who was killed in a head-on vehicle crash while off duty. At a news conference Tuesday, Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole said the department is aware of some scammers posing as charitable organizations seeking donations for the family. He encouraged supporters to make donations through the nonprofit Christian County Deputy Sheriff Association. Cole said funeral arrangements for the fallen deputies will be finalized in the coming days and that information will be shared with the public. Ozark schools and businesses are honoring the fallen deputies, and we see a picture of several Christian County employees and locals watching officials give a press conference during the memorial. Cafe B29 in Ozark announced in a Facebook post that it will accept contributions for local law enforcement with a donation box over the next few weeks. The post states, quote, we'll match any donations made to feed more officers. This will be for all local law enforcement officers that have worked so hard together. As a community, we want you to know we have your backs and know the ultimate price was paid. The lives of our finest were lost. Lolly's, a restaurant on the Ozark Square, shared a post inviting the community to, quote, make a gratitude wall donations. Meals from our gratitude wall will be shared with all law enforcement, so please help us share with anyone you might know, the post states. GW Coffee House on the Ozark Square announced it will donate 100% of its sales on Wednesday, February 25th, to the families of the 2 fallen deputies. Hertz Donuts in Branson announced it is selling donuts decorated with the Christian County Sheriff's Office emblem and will be donating 100% of sales to support the fallen deputies and the deputies who were injured. The Ozarks School District is also honoring the fallen deputies by lowering flags across the school's properties. The district announced yesterday that it would reschedule a February 24th Board of Education meeting to February 26th out of respect for the families and our community. Quote, "We extend our love and sympathy to the families, Christian County Sheriff's Office, and extend community during this unimaginable time." The district statement said, "We're also keeping the injured deputies and their families in our thoughts as they recover. Our hearts are with all who are impacted." And what follows is a picture of the person who killed Christian County deputies. He was charged with shooting at a Kansas deputy back in 2014. Richard Dean Bird was charged with attempted first-degree murder in Johnson County, Kansas, for firing a gun at a deputy. From the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Representative Jeremy Dean announced he is running for re-election. This is a story by Susan Such. State Representative Jeremy Dean announced in a February 24th news release he'll be running for re-election. Dean, who represents District 132 in Springfield, said he seeks to reaffirm his commitment to working families and ensuring everyday Missourians have a voice in state government. Quote, "When I first ran for office, it was because working families were being left behind while politicians focused on the wrong priorities," Dean said in a news release. Quote, "Too many people were working hard, playing by the rules, and still struggling to get ahead. I ran to be a fighter for them, and that's exactly what I've been doing." Dean aims to continue focusing on policies aimed at affordability, strengthening public education, and addressing Missouri's growing housing crisis. There will be a re-election kickoff event that is open to the public from 4:30 to 6 p.m. on March 21st at the Creamery Arts Center, 411 North Sherman Parkway in Springfield. Dean has been in the news recently as the Missouri legislature sanctioned him over obscene text to Representative Cecily Williams. The punishment removes Dean from committees, requires sexual harassment training, and that he remain at least 50 feet away from Williams at all time, according to Missouri Independent reporting. Dean told the Independent that he believed the ethics complaint was politically motivated. The St. Louis Cardinals finding a new Springfield home on 102.1, The One. St. Louis Cardinals baseball will be settling into a new radio home in the Ozarks as 102.1, The One, becomes Springfield's go-to station for spring training and regular season broadcasts. The station will air every weekend spring training matchup and provide full pregame and postgame coverage throughout the season, according to a community announcement. Quote, "We are so excited to add St. Louis Cardinals baseball to 102.1, The One," Director of Content Mike, quote, "the intern Holmes said. The Cardinals have an incredible following here in the Ozarks, and St. Louis Cardinals radio broadcasts are the best in Major League Baseball." The programming lineup on 102.1 The One byline continues with the station, which is part of Midwest Family Marketing, also features the starting morning lineup with Ned Reynolds, Scott Puryear, and Art Haynes. Its sports offerings include St. Louis Blues hockey, NFL football, the Jim Rome Show, and VSN network programming. Cardinals broadcasts were previously airing on 105.1 The Bull, another station operated by Midwest Family. The company also runs 104.7 The Cave and Springfield's rock outlet Q92.9. And from the Springfield News-Leader, Central Missouri Sandwich Shop has been named Best in the State, and here is why. Well, if you think you know the best sandwich shop in Missouri, just ask 10 people, and you likely will get 10 different answers. Lifestyle and travel publication Only in Your State is weighing in on which shop deserves the title of Missouri's best sandwich spot. Only in Your State recently released its newest 50 best list, highlighting the best sandwich shops in every state. So what is the best sandwich shop in Missouri, according to Only in Your State? Well, they selected the winners by assessing the popularity of reviews, awards, readers' nominations, accessibility, inclusivity, affordability, hours, food quality, and overall value of each location. Factoring in all of that, the honor of Missouri's best sandwich shop, according to Only in Your State, goes to, a little drum roll, Twisted Tony's in Osage Beach. Twisted Tony's is a locally owned sandwich shop that has been in operation since 2021. It started as a small family-owned restaurant, but has since grown into a beloved local establishment. And we all wonder now, what food is Twisted Tony's known for? And what follows is a picture of one of the sandwiches that are offered at Twisted Tony's. They're known for a wide and tasty array of signature sandwiches that obviously locals cannot get enough of. Customers love unique creations like the Voodoo Jamwich, which is turkey, jalapeno bacon, jam, pepper jack, garlic pepper aioli, lettuce, tomato, onion, and pickle. Then there's the Boozy Bird, which is smoked chicken, bourbon teriyaki, bell pepper, pineapple, pepper jack, lettuce, tomato, onion, and pickle, and daily specials. The staff at Only in Your State wrote of Twisted Tony's. And again, you'll find them in Osage Beach. Their address, 5175 Osage Beach Parkway, Unit C. And they also have a Camdenton location, 76 Chestnut Avenue, Suite 103, Camdenton. Congratulations, that is quite an honor. And continuing in other news, a Wright County judge has sentenced a man charged in the cold case homicide of Kellyanne Workman in 1989 to life in prison without parole on Tuesday. On December 4th, 2025, Bobby Lee Banks submitted an Alford plea of guilty for second-degree murder. In an Alford plea, the defendant doesn't admit guilt, but acknowledges that there is evidence to convict. Workman, who was 24 years old, was abducted from the cemetery in Douglas County, where she worked as a groundskeeper, on July 30th of 1989. Her body was found 8 days later in Christian County. In February of 2024, Banks was one of 3 men charged with the murder of Workman after a witness stepped up with new information about her death. One of the men charged, Leonard Banks, was sentenced to 15 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter. And another suspect, Wiley Belt, had charges of first-degree kidnapping and forcible rape dropped in November of 2025. And a bill that would bill to publish Missouri voter list online raises some privacy concerns, and a couple of key points here. A proposed Missouri bill raised privacy concerns for its plan to publish the personal information of all registered voters online. The bill's sponsor stated the online publication was a drafting error and the language would be revised. And currently, individual voter registration information is public record, but is not available for mass download on a state website. Missouri senators raised privacy concerns on Monday, February 23rd, during a hearing on a bill that would put personal information about every registered voter on a state website. Under the legislation proposed by State Senator Jill Carter, a Republican from Granby, the Secretary of State's office would be required to publish the full list of approximately 4.5 million registered voters on the office website. The list would have to include the voter's name, address, and date of birth, along with the voter identification number, the township or ward where they reside, and the precinct where they're assigned to vote. Quote, "This seems like a lot of personal information that is going out there." State Senator Nagy Nuremberg, a Democrat from Kansas City. She said this during a hearing of the Senate Local Government Elections and Pensions Committee. "I have very serious privacy concerns about that being on a website." And we see next a picture of Senator Jill Carter, a Republican from Granbury, who is sponsoring a bill to put the list online at the Secretary of State's office. She's shown on the first day of the 2024 legislative session. The article continues, voter registration lists are public records, and the statewide list can be obtained with a Sunshine Law request and a nominal payment. Carter said during testimony to the committee, "Making the entire voting list public," she said, "just help the administrators and those poll watchers be able to ensure that the poll data is just timely before the election cycle." Carter's office clarified that the intent of the bill was to ensure the most up-to-date information was provided to election judges and poll watchers on Election Day. Posting the material online was the result of a drafting error, and Carter said she would revamp the language of the bill before the committee takes vote. "I can go to my clerks and get a lot of that information, but in regards to a website, let me follow up and make sure of that," she said. Along with the provision to put voter lists online, the bill would extend a fee collected by the Secretary of State's office, require election tallies to be reported with separate totals for Election Day voting and absentee ballots, and direct the office to assign a unique identifier for every voting district in the state. Even though voter registration lists are public records, along with information about participation in particular elections, it's not generally available online. The Secretary of State's website maintains a page where individuals can check voter registration, but no individual's information can be accessed without the exact name used for registration, as well as their birth date and county of residence. In some instances, the user must also supply an exact street address. State Senator Sandy Crawford, a Republican from Buffalo, said she was worried that the information required in the bill would reveal personal information and how individuals actually voted in some smaller locations. Along with the website list of voters, local election authorities will be required to report election results at the precinct and township levels, showing the vote on Election Day and the results from absentee ballots in separate tallies. Some townships, Crawford said, have 50 or fewer registered voters. Quote, "It seems like a lot of identifiable information right when we have so many concerns about fraud and everything else," she said. Secretary of State Danny Hoskins supports the bill because it would extend a fee on business registrations that supports the office's technology fund, said Amanda Bell, the office's lobbyist. The $5 fee, first established in 1994, funds the office's cybersecurity efforts and pays for computer upgrades for business and election systems. The fee expires at the end of the year, and the bill would extend the sunset for 4 years. There was no discussion of the provision putting the Secretary of State's office in charge of assigning voting district designations. That is currently a local responsibility and has become an issue in one of the cases challenging the gerrymandered congressional district map passed last year by Republicans. A trial was held in the case last week, but no ruling has been issued. Under questioning from the committee, Bell said only individual voter information was accessible online. It is available on request, she said. Quote, "You're just not going to go out there and get a whole list of everybody in the state," Bill said. That's how it currently is. State Minority Leader Doug Beck, a Democrat from Afton, asked whether there was a need to publish the full voter list with birth dates and addresses. "You can go check out your own," Beck noted. "Why do we need this to be written down here?" Bell said she did not know. She says, "I did not," she said, "request that portion of the bill." Okay. And in other news, if you're a fan of Panera's, they have unveiled their first ever value menu, which does include mix and match options. And seeing someone kneading some bread and everything is the video that follows. Looks delicious as always at Panera. They've announced their first ever value menu, which includes soups, salads, and sandwiches. The St. Louis-based restaurant's new Mix and Match value menu gives customers the option to purchase half a sandwich, half a serving of salad, or a cup of soup, according to a news release. Customers can order 2 to 10 menu items and get one free side per order. There are 10 options to choose from, plus a rotating seasonal item. With the Mix and Match menu, Panera is introducing the first value menu of its kind, one that doesn't require compromise and makes it easy for guests to combine quality, craveable selections into a meal that truly satisfies at a great value, said Panera Bread Chief Marketing Officer Mark Shambura. When will Panera's value menu be available is the next byline, and it will be beginning today in stores or via panerabread.com. And Panera customers can order the following items from the menu. The half sandwiches include the toasted Italiano, the toasted caprese focaccia, bacon turkey bravo, and cranberry walnut chicken salad. And as far as salads go, Caesar, Fuji apple chicken, ranch parm BLT, and from the soup selection, creamy tomato, home-style chicken noodle, and bistro French onion. And each order will include a single side, and customers can choose between a baguette, chips, or an apple. And how much does that value menu cost? Each option will be $4.99, but customers must purchase 2 of the options to order from the value menu. Customers will be spending at least $9.98, excluding taxes, when ordering from the menu. And the next byline asks, will the value menu replace Panera's You Pick 2 deal? The company said the Mix and Match value menu is an all-new offering separate from its popular You Pick 2 deal, which will remain as another wonderful option for guests to choose from. And in other news, from the Springfield News-Leader, the question is asked if it is legal to drive ATVs on Missouri roads. And here's what the state law says. If you grew up in or around rural areas or parts of Missouri, then it's very likely you saw an all-terrain vehicle, or ATV, whizzing by from time to time. ATVs are particularly popular in the warmer months, where you can find enthusiasts going for rides on off-roading trails or backwoods. But is it legal to take your ATV on the state roads and highways? And here's what to know. By default, it is illegal to drive ATVs on Missouri roads according to state law. But with that being said, there are a few exceptions, and these include ATVs owned and operated by a government entity for official use, ATVs that are used for agricultural or industrial on-premises purposes between the official sunrise and sunset on the day of operation, and occasional ATV use by handicapped persons for short distances only on the state's secondary roads between sunrise and sunset. A municipality can enact an ordinance or resolution following ATVs on streets, highways under its jurisdiction. The driver in this case must have proof of financial responsibility or an insurance policy providing equal liability coverage for the ATV. Next byline reads, what safety standards are required when ATVs are on Missouri roads? Well, there are a few safety standards you'll need to abide by before hitting the road, and these include a bicycle safety flag, which extends at least 7 feet above the ground and attached to the rear of the vehicle. The flag must be in a triangular shape, have an area of at least 30 square inches, and be bright in color. Helmets for drivers under 18. A lighted headlamp and tail lamp, and an equilateral triangle emblem mounted on the rear of the vehicle, at least 2 feet above the roadway. It needs to be fluorescent yellow-orange and have a reflective red border at least 1 inch in width. Each side of the emblem must also measure at least 10 inches. A braking system in good working condition, an adequate muffler system, a U.S. Forest Service qualified spark arrestor. And drivers must register their ATV with the Department of Revenue before use. They also cannot drive more than 30 miles per hour when on roads and cannot carry any passengers with them except for agricultural purposes. ATVs are also prohibited from being driven in a stream or river unless the waterway flows within the boundaries of land the operator owns, or for agricultural purposes within the boundaries of land which an off-road vehicle operator owns or has permission to be upon, or for the purpose of fording such stream or river of this state at such road crossings as are customary or part of the highway system. How old do I have to be to drive an ATV on Missouri roads? Well, technically there is not an age requirement to operate an ATV in the state. A valid driver's license is required to drive one on the road, and a motorcycle license is not required, however. Good morning.
So a Springfield man's death at Arkansas campground ruled an animal mauling, likely bear attack. A 6-year-old man from Springfield was found dead at an Arkansas campground Thursday, October 2nd. An autopsy has confirmed that the man was killed from an animal mauling. While law enforcement suspect it was a bear attack, additional tests are pending to confirm this. On Thursday, Newton County Sheriff's Office in Arkansas received a call of a welfare concern at Sam Strone near Mount Judah. The call came from the camper's son, who had not heard from his father in a couple of days, according to a news release from the sheriff's office. The camper's campsite was found disturbed upon a deputy's arrival with evidence of a struggle and an injury. Though the man was not in his camp, according to the release, there was also drag marks leading from the campground into the woods. The man was found dead several yards outside the campsite. Investigators have received information from the family that he had sent photos of a bear in his camp Tuesday morning, September 30th. The extensive injuries found on the man were consistent with those expected from a large carnivore attack, according to investigators. Newton County Sheriff Glenn Wheeler confirmed to the News-Leader on Friday, October 3rd, that the man was from Springfield. He had been camping since Monday, September 29th, and was expected to return Friday. It's a picture of big black bear. Efforts are underway to locate the bear, with Wheeler contacting local hunters who have dogs used to hunt bears. Based on the photos, the bear appeared to be a young male. We're attempting to find the bear and dispose of it to the Game and Fish Commission, can test it for anything that may have led to the encounter. We know without a doubt that a bear was in camp with our victim, and the injuries absolutely are consistent with the bear attack, the sheriff said in the release. This is a highly unusual case. History tells us that once a bear becomes predatory, it often continues those behaviors. In a new release Friday, October 3rd, around 4:20 p.m., the sheriff's office confirmed that the death was ruled as an animal mauling. However, the Arkansas State Crime Lab could not completely confirm whether it was a bear until DNA samples are confirmed. Sam Strone Campground remained temporarily closed by the U.S. Forest Service for the safety of the public and to help with the investigation and search for the bear as of Friday afternoon. The latest news release indicated the bear had not yet been located. The sheriff urged the public to remain cautious and follow bear safety measures when camping. I don't want this to become open season on any bear that someone may see, as most bears fear humans and run away, he said in the release. But at the same time, don't put yourself or others in jeopardy. Several other agencies, including the U.S. Forest Service, the National Park Service, Jasper Police Department, 14th Judicial Drug Task Force, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, and Newton County Coroner's Offices have been a part of the investigation. Matt Meets covers local government at the News-Leader. Have feedback, tips, or story ideas? Contact her at mmieze@newsleader.com. Next, we have the Pitch Pizza and Pub on East Sunshine Street is to close permanently. After 9 years on East Sunshine Street, the Pitch Pizza and Pub is closing its doors permanently. Sunday, February 22nd, will be the last day of service, according to company Facebook posts. Located at 2924 East Sunshine Street, the Pitch is known for Neapolitan-style pizza and a large selection of craft beer and wine. We formed lifelong relationships on both sides of the bar and shared unforgettable moments, laughing, crying, and celebrating with our friends and, of course, our family and our incredible staff, owners Brian and Tracy Bevel said in the Facebook post. We're so grateful for the opportunity and deeply thankful to everyone who has supported us on this journey. The owners did not disclose a reason for closing the restaurant, in the Facebook post. Ryan Collins is the business and economic development reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Collins graduated from Glendale High School in 2011 before studying journalism and economics at the University of Missouri-Columbia. He previously works for Bloomberg News. Contact him at 417-849-2570 or rcollins@sgfcitizin.org. More by Ryan Collins. New clinic on MSU's campus combines several speech and hearing counseling services. The Collaborative Care Clinic marks completion of second phase of Camptier Hall renovations. An open house is set for 2 p.m. Friday. With construction completed, Missouri State University has opened a new medical clinic that collects several health-related services into one space. The Collaborative Care Clinic opened last month inside Ann Kempter Health Science Hall. Part of the McQuarrie College of Health and Human Services, the clinic meshes education with community service by giving graduate students a chance to gain practical experience in their fields. An open house has been scheduled for 2 p.m. Friday, February 20th at the clinic located at 609 East Cherry Street. Tours will be available after ceremony marketing its opening. The completion of the clinics bolsters the medical training program offered at the university, said Mark Smith, dean of the college. The Collaborative Care Clinic provides 300 graduate students studying to become audiologists, speech-language pathologists, counselors, and psychologists with real-world clinic experiences as they look to enter their respective fields, Smith said. The clinic provides a safe setting to train health care professionals. It combines several existing services into a common location, said Leticia White-Minnis, Associated Dean in a university publication. Through the clinic, people can get services for counseling, diagnosis and treatments for speech-language pathology, hearing and balance testing, diagnostics for hearing aids, diagnostics for psychological needs. This new facility allows us to bring services together in one collaborative space while expanding supervised hands-on learning opportunities for our students, Whiteman said. At the same time, it reinforces our role as a community partner by providing high-quality and accessible care. The clinic takes up more than half of the space in Camptier Hall's first floor. It replaces the former speech-language hearing clinic, giving each of those services a dedicated clinical area with a shared patient waiting room and centralized check-in, as well as a coordinating staff. Got a picture of a nice lobby there with some comfortable chairs. It's open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday and 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday, and it's open to community members. The clinic marks the completion of a second phase of renovations at the hall. In 2022, a multi-year overhaul of the building was completed, and the hall was named in recognition of gifts from Ann Camptier, a member of the university's Board of Governors and a trustee on the Missouri State University Foundation Board. The project cost about $7.9 million. About half of that came from federal COVID recovery funds, and about $1.6 million came from a MOEXCELS grant from the state of Missouri. Smith said that while some spaces in the building remain in need of upgrades, no future projects are planned at this time. Diagnostic services are available free of charge to community members. Counseling services as well as equipment such as hearing aids are available on sliding scales. This is from Joe Hardsdale, is the education reporter for Springfield Daily Citizen. Hardsdale has more than 2 decades of experience reporting in the Ozarks with the Joplin Globe, Christian County Headliner News, and 417 Magazine. You can contact him at 417-837-3671 or email at jhadsall@sgfcitizn.org. More by Joe Hasdale.
All right. Next article is from the Springfield News-Leader. And what is a blue alert? This was the notice which was sent after that Christian County shooting. Phones across Missouri were buzzing Monday, February 23rd, after a Christian County deputy was shot and killed during a traffic stop. Missouri State Highway Patrol issued a blue alert after Christian County Sheriff's Deputy Gabrielle Ramirez was fatally shot near Highlandville. After that hours-long manhunt overnight, the suspect, Richard Dean Bird, was killed in a shootout with police. Christian County Sheriff's Deputy Michael Highslope was also killed in the standoff, while 2 other deputies were injured. The blue alert was canceled at around 1 a.m. Tuesday, February 24th, with the MSHP saying that the suspect had been apprehended. Well, you ask, what is a blue alert? It's an emergency message to law enforcement agencies, media, and the public about violent offenders who have killed, seriously injured, or pose an imminent and credible threat to law enforcement, according to the U.S. Justice Department. Like with Amber Alerts, blue alerts can be transmitted via wireless devices and through the emergency alert system. The next byline reads, what constitutes a blue alert? Well, it can be issued in Missouri if the following criteria are met, according to state law. A law enforcement officer is killed or seriously injured in the line of duty. An officer is missing in connection with official duties. There is an imminent and credible threat to kill or seriously injure a law enforcement officer. There is actionable information known about a suspect for a public notification to be helpful to law enforcement, and the law enforcement agency involved requests or approves the alert being issued. Well, what happens when a blue alert is activated? All Missouri law enforcement agencies are notified through a Missouri email alert. Broadcasters and media are notified. The public receives a wireless emergency alert message on their cell phone. The Missouri Department of Transportation will be notified to activate message signs if practicable, and the Missouri Lottery will be notified to activate message signs if practicable. Well, how did blue alerts come to be? In 2015, Congress passed the Rafael Ramos and Wenjin Liu National Blue Alert Act, named in honor of 2 New York City police officers who were killed in an ambush attack. The act establishes a voluntary nationwide system to give police an early warning of threats against police officers and aid in the apprehension of suspects who have killed or seriously injured an officer. And in other news and sports news, Drury's Tyler Harris has been recognized as a scholar athlete, and tennis sweeps the UIS. This is from the Drury Athletics Communication Department. Drury cross-country runner Tyler Harris has been recognized at the Great Lakes Valley Conference Men's Cross Country Scholar Athlete of the Year. Way to go. The conference announced yesterday. Harris became the fastest runner in program history last fall after breaking school records in both the 8,000 meters and the 10,000 meters. He set the 8K record at the GLVC Championships, where he placed second to earn all GLVC honors. The Springfield native later broke the 10K record at the NCAA West Regional, finishing 8th to earn all region honors and an at-large bid to the NCAA National Championship. And we see a picture of Mr. Harris running. He's a junior out of Kickapoo High School, also earned a GLVC Men's Cross Country Runner of the Week honor for his performance at Arkansas's Chili Pepper Festival, where he placed 21st in a little over 24 minutes, 24:36:90. In the classroom, Harris worked his way to a perfect 4.0 fall semester grade point average and maintains a perfect 4.0 cumulative GPA while majoring in architecture. Throughout his career, Harris has earned the GLVC's Brother James Gaffney Distinguished Scholar for maintaining a 4.0 GPA in a given academic year honor, 3 all-region selections, 4 all-GLVC honors, and 2 academic all-GLVC citations. Recipients for the GLVC Scholar Athlete of the Year awards were honored for their efforts both in the classroom and competition in the sports of football, men's and women's cross country, men's and women's soccer, and women's volleyball. The league selects 1 student athlete in each conference sport to be designated the Fall Scholar Athlete. The award is based upon athletic accomplishments, both team and individual, and academic performance in the season upon which the award is based. The voting is completed by each member's institution faculty athletics representative. And Drury Tennis sweeps UIS to extend their hot streak. They recorded a clean sweep in men's and women's matches against Illinois Springfield Sunday afternoon, February 22nd at Cooper Tennis Complex. The Drury men claimed their 3rd straight match with a 5-2 decision over the Prairie Stars. DU took the doubles point behind wins on the 2nd and the 3rd lines, and Romano grabbed the 2nd point for Drury at the 2nd singles line, topping Antonio Arabel-Strubel in straight sets. Mateo Gachon won straight sets to remain perfect on the season, and Reyes and Gustavo Oliveira closed the match with wins on the 5th and 6th lines. And what follows is a picture of a lady Drury tennis player, Franca Piaggi. On the women's side, Drury improved to 3-0 for the first time in 2 years with a 6-1 win. DU won the doubles point with wins from its first Naz Yaver and Antamia Novik, and second lines Franca Piaggi and Liana Shadovi. Shadovi took the first singles line, winning 6-2 and 6-1, and Yaver 6-1, 6-4, and Piaggi 6-1, 6-3. They also won in 2 sets from the 3rd and 4th lines. And Novik won a tight 3-set battle as well. Ana Luisa Rosa won the Panthers' 6th point of the afternoon from the 5th line. Both Drury tennis squads will be traveling to St. Louis on Saturday for a 3 p.m. match with Maryville. Congratulations.
So we have poking around. Press release about Safe Haven baby box makes me wonder if Springfield has them. Springfield Chief says hospital, maternity homes, and pregnancy resource centers already serve as a designated safe haven locations under Missouri law and are appropriately staffed and prepared for newborn care. They show a picture here of a box. Like most new organizations, the Springfield Daily Citizen receives many press releases that seem misdirected. They are sent to us even though the people and events highlighted are far from Springfield or in some cases have nothing to do with Missouri. State Representative Jeff Vanetti, a Republican from Camdenton, early this month sent us news that he had raised $16,000 in private donations so the Mid-County Fire Protection District, also in Camdenton, could purchase and install a Safe Haven baby box. According to Safe Haven's website, Safe Haven baby boxes offer a compassionate and secure option for mothers in crisis who are unable to care for their newborns. Designed with innovative safety features and installed on the exterior walls of a fire station and hospitals, each box ensures the safe and anonymous surrender of infants. The exterior door locks automatically when a newborn is placed inside, and an interior door allows medical personnel to promptly and securely receive the baby, ensuring immediate care and protection. Safe Haven baby boxes are a vital resource providing a lifeline for mothers and a safe beginning for their newborns. Safe Haven has been making them since 2016. The new value of the press release is far greater in Camdenton than in Springfield, but it made me wonder, are any of these baby boxes, whatever the brand, at a Springfield fire station? Springfield Fire Chief says there are better places to leave a baby than a fire station. So I emailed Springfield Fire Chief David Pennington. He responded, "The intent of the Safe Haven program is admirable, and we fully support efforts that protect infants and provide parents with a safe and legal alternative. However, hospitals, maternity homes, and pregnancy resource centers already serve as a designated Safe Haven location under Missouri law and appropriately staffed and prepared for newborn care. Shifting that responsibility to the fire department does not increase safety or access and creates operational impact which disrupts our core mission of emergency response. I also asked if he could recall any instances where a baby was abandoned at a Springfield fire station. He could not. He's been with the department 28 years. I found a few Springfield news stories about abandoned babies. I checked the archives of the Springfield News and Leader and the Springfield News-Leader for the term abandoned baby for the years 1950 to February 2026. I skimmed the 232 stories that popped up. Very few were about an infant abandoned in Springfield, but what I did learn is that abandoned baby is a favorite topic of dramas on TV and plays, novels, and in movies. Think of that one. I found 5 stories, and one of them, the most recent, a young mother was about to abandon her baby when she changed her mind and told authorities she had found the abandoned baby, which was her own. July 24th, 1998, according to the news story, the 24-year-old woman was sentenced to a year of probation for filing a false police report. She told the police she and her taller son found the baby outside Cherry Street Baptist Church in a cardboard box. A day later, while searching for the baby's mother, police discovered that the child was in fact the woman's and that she had given birth to him 36 hours before, alone in her bedroom closet. The young woman held the baby the entire time while outside the church that July morning, never able to put it in the cardboard box. Inside the box was a handwritten note from the woman saying she wanted a couple from the church to take care of the child. July 7th, 1972, the subhead of this story said, adoption consent is sought from abandoned baby's mother. The child was found on the steps of a Church of Christ, 1201 North Campbell, by a city utility meter reader on June 20th. September 8th, 1957, according to this news story, the trial of a 30-year-old woman charged with second-degree murder after her baby son was found floating in the waters of Dolan Park Lake last January is one of 4 criminal cases to be heard in the Circuit Court Jury Week. The woman admitted leaving the baby on the bank of the lake December 21st of last year, one day after the infant was born in Burge Hospital. The day-old boy was found floating near the shoreline toward the drain on the north end of the lake by a group of children who had gone to the park skating rink. The day after the baby was found, the woman admitted to the police she abandoned the baby. She said she was not the child of her husband, a Frisco employee who did not even know she had given birth to a child. July 11th, 1954, Juvenile Officer David B. Woodworth today urged that the mother who abandoned her baby on the steps of the St. Agnes Catholic Church last weekend come forward and sign relinquishment papers so that the baby can be formally adopted. July 28th, 1953, a young unwed mother, 21, who gave birth to her second child alone and unaided and then left it in a wheelbarrow outside a hospital, today joined the baby at Hanley Hospital after being found by police last night. The Dr. W.E. Hanley City Hospital was a 1950s-era hospital facility in Springfield, built as a wing attached to Burge Hospital at Jefferson Avenue and Lynn Street. The woman, a waitress, today signed papers permitting adoption of the baby after telling police she didn't know about the year's waiting period required for adoption of babies in the absence of parental permission. The woman told police the father is a 28-year-old married man who is out of the city at the present time. She said he fathered another baby born to her at the city hospital about a year ago. The baby was adopted, hospital authorities said today. Child abandonment charges against the woman are possible, but no decision was reached today. The Poking Around column, number 341, Steve Pokin. Steve Pokin writes the Poking Around the News, the Answer Man columns for the Springfield Daily Citizen. He also writes about criminal justice issues. He can be reached at spoken@sgfcitizen.org. His office line is 417-837-3661. More by Steve Pokin.
And two companies have taken top honors at Springfield Business Journal's Coolest Things Made in Missouri. Two companies recognized with top honors at Springfield Business Journal's Coolest Things Made in Missouri event. And in all, 16 products manufactured in the state of Missouri were honored during the event at Branson Convention Center. The event, previously known as Coolest Things Made in the Ozarks, went statewide this year. SBJ owner and publisher Marty Goodnight said at the event that more than 70 businesses applied for the Coolest Things Made in Missouri. Quote, "We're all in this together," Goodnight said. "We're all fans of manufacturing in this state, and we're excited to tell their story." Event attendees were asked to vote on their favorite product out of 16 finalists. Based on the vote, Maryville-based Kawasaki Motors Manufacturing Corp., USA's Kawasaki EVO Series engines, won the Showcase Award. Quote, "Our customers are always our drivers," said Scott James, the company's director of operations, in its Coolest Things Made in Missouri profile. "We're always looking for how to better meet their needs in their market. And really, our customers were looking for something more powerful and more efficient so they could perform their jobs, their landscaping work more efficiently, and also be more profitable in their businesses." The Top Honors Award went to Rolla-based Brewer Science Inc. for its anti-reflective coatings product. The award recognized the company with the highest overall score by an independent panel of judges. Tracy Jenkins, corporate relations representative for Brewer Science, said in the company's Coolest Things Made in Missouri profile that the company founder, Tracy Jenkins, invented the anti-tire reflective coating for semiconductors. And today that technology is still a vital element in the chip making, Jenkins said. So nearly 45 years later, it's still an essential solution for those products. And without it, modern devices would not even be possible without that anti-reflective coating. Now, the full roster of SBJ's 2026 Coolest Things Made in Missouri is as follows. ABEC Inc. Custom Single Run Bioreactor. They're located here in Springfield. In Stratford, American Products. Askinosie Chocolate LLC, also located here in Springfield. In Rolla, Brewer Science Inc., as we just told you. Brunswick Corporation, Lowe's Boats Roughneck Pathfinder of Lebanon. Cardinal Scale Manufacturing Company, Armor Truck Scales. They're in Webb City. Cooper Gear and Manufacturing Inc., Precision Gears, they are located in Anderson. Gray Manufacturing Inc., which makes wireless portable lift systems of St. Joseph. Hammond Products Company, Black Walnuts, they're in Stockton. Ivy House Inc., TLC Splints in St. Louis. Kawasaki Motors Manufacturing Corp. USA, Kawasaki EVO Series engines in Maryville. Morris Packaging LLC, Sustainable and Flexible Packaging of Jefferson City. In Moberly, Orshon Products LLC, Fluid Level Indicators. Renew Tech Holdings LLC, Structural Engineered Bamboo, they're in St. Charles. In Springfield, Vroom Solar Moke Inc., makes Vroom 3000. And Watson Custom Tanks, Stainless Steel Process Tanks, they're also located here in Springfield. From the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield State will be honoring alumni Mimi Garston with a doctorate. Missouri State University will award its 25th honorary doctorate to alumni and pioneering geologist Mimi Garstang during spring 2026 commencement ceremonies, according to a company announcement. The Board of Governors approved the honor after recommendations from the Faculty Senate and President Richard Biff Williams. Mimi is deserving of this doctorate because she's the embodiment of Missouri State's public affairs mission, said Bill Sandel, chair of the selection committee. She's done so much for the field of geology and the state of Missouri. Garstang earned her geology degree from what was then Southwest Missouri State University in 1972, joined the Missouri Geological Survey in 1978. In 2000, she became the first woman to serve as state geologist and director of the survey, helping place Missouri among the top 10 states in mineral production while promoting environmental stewardship, according to the announcement. And we see next a smiling picture of geologist and longtime public service Mimi Garstang, who will be receiving that honorary doctorate. Throughout her career, Garstang has educated the public about environmental issues, supported legislative efforts on natural resource protection, and expanded continuing education opportunities for geologists and engineers, according to the announcement. She also created scholarship opportunities and mentored future scientists across the state. Since retiring from public service about 15 years ago, she's continued supporting Missouri's geological and environmental community through groups including the Association of Engineering and Environmental Geologists, the American Society of Civil Engineers, the Missouri Geologists Consortium, and the Missouri chapter of the American Institute of Professional Geologists. And this story was co-authored by Dave DeMille with the assistance of AI. Journalists were involved, though, in every step of the information gathering, review, editing, and publishing process. And hummingbirds are on the move, and boy, we all want to know, when are they going to arrive in Missouri? It still may feel a little bit like winter here, but we know spring is just around the corner. And one early sign of the season, of course, hummingbirds are already on the move in the United States. They could be making their return to the Show Me State just a little earlier than usual this year. As winter loosens its grip, hummingbirds have begun their annual migration from the south to the north. Many enthusiasts have spotted the tiny travelers in February, suggesting the Great Migration is running several weeks ahead of schedule. Now, according to the University of Missouri Extension, hummingbirds typically arrive in Missouri between early to mid-April. However, migration timing can vary significantly from year to year, and sustained periods of warmer weather could accelerate their arrival timeline. Data from Hummingbird Central shows 2026 spring season sightings have already been reported in 6 southern states, including Arizona, California, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. And another tracking website, Hummingbird-News, has already reported some sighting in Georgia and North Carolina weeks earlier than their historical averages. Hummingbird migration patterns differ by species, geography, and weather conditions. Many of the early sightings have involved ruby-throated hummingbirds, the most common species in Missouri. Recent research from Birdwatching Daily suggests that ruby-throated hummingbirds are now arriving at lower and mid-latitude locations up to 15 days earlier than they did decades ago. Now, if that holds true, hummingbirds could begin appearing in parts of Missouri as early as March. Still, experts emphasize that weather conditions in the upcoming weeks will be playing a major role in how soon they actually return. Food availability, including native plants, insect, and nectar sources, may also impact their whereabouts. Many hummingbirds making way to the United States are returning from their winter grounds in Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. As part of their annual migration cycle, they spend several spring and summer months in Missouri and then head south for much of fall and winter. Bird enthusiasts in Missouri are encouraged to monitor migration reports closely and possibly prepare bird feeders as soon as March or April, depending on migratory patterns. To prepare a successful hummingbird feeder, experts recommend mixing 4 cups of water for every 1 cup of sugar, filling a feeder, and changing the mixture just every few days for freshness. Placing feeders near trees can also be helpful, as trees can also provide shelter and a resting spot between meals. If you'd like more information about late winter to early spring hummingbird migrations, or to share about a local sighting, you can always go online and share that information.
So we have ex-wife and boyfriend sue Springfield surgeon alleging repeated access to medical records. A Springfield area doctor is being sued by his ex-wife and her boyfriend, who say he repeatedly looked up their medical records through Cox Health systems without a valid reason and later used private information to allegedly embarrass them and cause financial harm. Jessica Scott and Jeffrey Harper filed the lawsuit Tuesday, February 24th in Greene County Circuit Court. The suit names Grant R. Scott, a vascular surgeon, as the defendant. The petitioner alleges he was fired from Cox in June of 2025. The petition says Jessica Scott and Grant Scott were married in 2006. The petition also says Jessica Scott and Harper have been dating since about 2020. According to the petition, the doctor accessed Jessica Scott's Cox Health records at least 19 times between August 2020 and May of 2025. It also alleges he accessed Harper's Cox Health record in August of 2024. The lawsuit points to letters the plaintiffs say they received from Cox Health in 2025. One letter, dated July 18, 2025, told Jessica Scott that an employee accessed her medical records multiple times from June of 2023 to June 2025 without direct job-related duty, the petition says. A second letter dated July 30th, 2025, told Harper that a breach occurred when an employee accesses his medical record without a direct job-related duty, the petition says. We can confirm that the physician is not employed with Cox Health, and we were unaware of this private civil dispute, a spokesman for Cox told Ozarks First. The lawsuit also links the alleged record access to problems that surfaced around the same time. It says that in June 2025, someone began using Jessica Scott's personal information for credit-related inquiries and posted Craigslist ads using her information. The petition says she filed a police report. Additionally, the petition says the plaintiff also filed complaints with agencies including the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Office for Civil Rights, and Missouri's Board of Registration for the Healing Arts. A court date has not yet been set.
And candidacies have been announced for 2 state House seats representing Springfield. 2 political candidates are seeking Missouri House of Representatives seats that represent Springfield, according to separate announcements in recent days. Jerry Angelo is running for House District 133, which represents a portion of West and Southwest Springfield. J.C. Buckles has thrown his hat in the ring for House District 136, which covers a portion of Southeast Missouri. The primary election is scheduled for August 4th. Now, Jerry Angelo is a Republican running for the seat currently held by Representative Melanie Stinnett, also a Republican from Springfield. Stinnett previously announced a bid for Missouri Senate District 30. The co-founder of Vanguard Marriage and Family Advocates, Angelo has some 27 years of technology experience, according to a news release. Angelo's campaign is focused on strengthening families and easing financial pressure on working households, as well as supporting first responders. Quote, "I'm not running to fight political battles," Angelo said in the release. "I'm running to solve real problems for families right here in our community. When families are strong, everything else improves: our schools, our economy, and our neighborhoods." Angelo filed campaign committee paperwork with the Missouri Ethics Commission on February 13th, according to commission records posted online. Caitlin Zach, a Democrat, is currently the only other candidate running for District 133 that is listed within MEC online records search results. Zach announced her candidacy last summer. And J.C. Buckles, also a Republican, is running for the seat currently held by Representative Stephanie Hine, a Democrat of Springfield. Buckles is co-owner of FTS Heating and Cooling, and according to the company's Better Business Bureau profile. If elected, he intends to focus on cost of living, public safety, and generational investment, according to a news release. "I'm running to bring bold vision and leadership that strengthens our state, improves our city, and builds a future for us and our children," Buckles said in the release. "Springfield is a great city filled with people of great potential. I want to be a part of helping Springfield unlock that potential to become a regional and even national beacon of education, business, and entrepreneurship." Buckles filed campaign committee paperwork on February 13th. Online records show both Buckles and Hine have filed with the MEC for the August 4th primary election. And Missouri is asking drivers to report potholes as repairs ramp up. This is from the Springfield News-Leader. The Missouri Department of Transportation is asking motorists to report potholes as crews ramp up repairs. MoDOT crews are focusing on pothole repairs as weather allows, aiming to keep roads safe and smooth, according to the announcement. Quote, "To be proactive and efficient, we're using historical data in addition to reports from the public to identify areas where potholes most commonly develop," Becky Almaroth, Chief Safety and Operations Officer, said in the announcement. "We ask motorists to please be patient with us and give our crews room to work safely as they repair the roadways." The next byline reads, well, how do potholes form? Potholes form when temperatures warm up during the day but remain cold at night. Rain and snow leave moisture that seeps into crack and joints in the pavement. Frozen water in cracks and under the surface causes the pavement to bulge and bend. When the ice melts, the pavement contracts and leaves gaps or voids in the surface. Vehicles driving over the weakened pavement eventually cause chunks of asphalt to pop up, creating potholes. MoDOT maintains 34,000 miles of road, including interstates, U.S. and Missouri routes, and lettered routes. In 2025, the department patched more than 650,000 potholes at a cost of $20 million. This season, approximately 300 pothole patching crews will be working statewide to respond as soon as possible after receiving a report, according to the announcement. Quote, "Innovation is at the heart of how MoDOT keeps everyone safe as we work to report potholes across the state," Almaroth said in the announcement. "We've equipped our protective vehicles with technology that sends real-time digital alerts to drivers through connected devices such as the Waze app, giving them extra time to slow down and move over. By combining smart tools with proactive planning, we're working to protect our crews and the traveling public." And now, you want to know how to report a pothole in Missouri? Well, Missourians can report the location of potholes on state-maintained roads using the following tools. You can call the 24/7 customer service, 1-888-ASK-MoDOT, that's 275-6636. You can use the Report a Road concern form. Report a Road Concern Form, I'll say that 3 times, at MoDOT.org. And in some areas of the state, Waze users can report potholes using the hands-free reporting feature within the app. And potholes on city streets or subdivisions should be reported to local city or county maintenance.
So we're from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Answer, man, why are so many churches dropping their denomination from the name? Correction, Wesley United Methodist Church has not left the United Methodist denomination. The original version of this story was in error. The church sign says Wesley Church, but the sign had the same wording long before there was a schism in the United Methodist denomination. Answer, man, I've noticed that several churches have changed their names by dropping their denomination. For example, Schweitzer United Methodist Church is now Schweitzer Church. High Street Baptist Church is now High Street Church. What's going on? Jonah Montalonio of Springfield. I'll start the answer with the specific churches you mentioned, Jonah, and then provide the big picture reason, which is the national growth of non-denominational churches and decline of those affiliated with a denomination. Pastor Eddie Lyons at High Street Baptist Church, 901 North Eastgate Avenue, has an explanation that surprised me. During COVID, everybody went online and we had to get a YouTube channel. He says the name High Street Baptist Church was owned by a church in Ohio and somebody offered to sell it to us for a lot of money. And I'm like, no, we don't want to do that. What was available was High Street's church, so we said, let's do it. We don't have time to dilly-dally. We've got to get this going. So our branding was switched to High Street Church. They have a picture of High Street Baptist Church. He tells me that the church has the full name on the building and is still part of the Southern Baptist Convention. Schweitzer Church has dropped the United Methodists from its name. That's the result of a schism in the denomination over several issues, including ordination of gay clergy and the performance of weddings for gay couples. The United Methodist denomination moved to accept the ordination of gay clergy and the marriage of gay couples. The congregation that did not accept those changes left the denomination and dropped the United Methodist from their names. We've actually had several names over the years in an effort to help people find us more easily. If you Google churches in Springfield, Missouri, as I did, you'll find a host of churches with names like Hill City Church, 2050 East Traffic Way, New Life Church, 776 West Farm Road 186, Awakening Church of God, 3010 West Nickel Street, Life Church, 1655 West Republic Road, and North Point Church with locations in Springfield, Nixa, and Republic. When you look at those websites, you don't find a denominational affiliation. Instead, you find what's typically called a statement of beliefs. Hill City, for example, lists its basic beliefs regarding Scripture, Trinity, the fall, Jesus Christ, salvation, baptism, and the church. North Point Church website states the church was launched in 2003 out of a dream to see a church community that engaged people from all walks of life, but on the North Point of Springfield, Missouri. Is a picture of North Point. It also says North Point was a church planted by James River Assembly. Coincidentally, James River Assembly is now the non-denominational James River Church, having left the Assemblies of God denomination in 2025. When I called Life Church for this story, the local pastor referred me to Rachel Furborn, a spokesperson in Oklahoma, who told me, it's about having a name that's both easy to remember and represents our beliefs that whoever finds God finds life. Furborn told me via email. We've actually had several names over the years in an effort to help people find us more easily. Before our current name, we were Life Church TV, which was reflective of our video teachings. A subset of churches that carry the old name with them when they moved. Andrew Kochner is the lead minister of Glendale Christian Church at 2110 South Blackman Road. We're non-denominational, and that just means we're not part of any hierarchy structure. He says we're locally anonymous. We want everyone to know we're just a Church of Christ or a Christian church, he says. So when someone asks, are you a Baptist church? No. Are you a Lutheran church? No. We're just a Christian church. One of our little slogans is, We are Christians only, but not the only Christians. There's a picture. It says Glendale Christian Church. Christian churches such as Glendale often take their name from their geographical location, such as the street where they were located. But I pointed out Glendale Christian Church is not close to Glendale High School. Why the name? Because the congregation once was located next to Glendale High School, Kirchner says. The church moved to its present location on Blackman Road in 2000 and kept its name. The former building next to Glendale High is home to the Experience Church. In fact, there's an entire subset of church names based on where church once was rather than where it is today. For example, why is there a High Street Baptist Church when the building is on Eastgate Avenue? It's because the congregation originally met at 1253 North Prospect Avenue at High Street. Dayspring Church is now in that building. Most influential churches in the United States are all non-denominational. The trend toward non-denominational churches is not new in America, says Bob Smetana, a longtime reporter who covers religion at Religion News Services. First, almost all major denominations, except the Assemblies of God, are in decline, he told me via email. Those mostly because older church members are dying off and their kids are less religious and so aren't joining their parents' churches, and because most denominations have churches in places where people used to live and haven't built new churches in growing areas. It's a picture of Schweitzer Church. Second, Americans switch churches a lot, and so folks are looking for new places to worship often when they move. Third, he adds, Protestant denominations have splintered, and local churches no longer sing the same songs or use the same Sunday school material or have the same worship style as other churches in their denominations. A denominational label no longer means what it used to mean. The most influential churches in the United States are all non-denominational, and they have shaped the way new churches are formed, Smetana says. Non-denominational affiliation is second, behind Roman Catholic. The U.S. Religion Census, conducted by the Association of Statisticians of American Religion Bodies, is the most comprehensive study of religion congregations and their followers in the United States. According to the 2020 U.S. Religion Census, non-denominational Christian churches comprise the second largest body as measured by followers, trailing only the Catholic Church. They show a chart here, the 20 largest religion traditions in the United States. Professor, society has demolished the gatekeepers. Ryan Burge is a professor at the John C. Danforth Center at Washington University in St. Louis. He writes the popular Substack newsletter, Graphs About Religion. Burge wrote this on July 23rd of 2023. There are mountains of more ink than can be spilled over the rise of non-denominational Christianity. I think it's probably the most visible manifestation of how American society, and by extension American religion, has changed so dramatically in the last 2 decades. We used to be a nation of institutions. The government, unions, and religious denominations were held in high regard by the average American. Now, American society is largely bottom-up. It's not institutions that run the show, it's individuals. Society has demolished the gatekeepers. Social media allows anyone with an intent connection to build a following in the tens of thousands in mere days. The most recent data says that nearly 13% of all adults in the United States are non-denominational Protestant Christians. There are more non-denominationals in the U.S. today than mainly Protestants. This is the Answer Man column 161 from Steve Pokin. Steve Pokin writes the Pokin Around and the Answer Man columns for the Springfield Daily Citizen. He also writes about criminal justice. He can be reached at spoken@sgfcitizen.org. His office line is 417-837-3661.
Well, Springfield Sales Tax Board violates a city charter, the council is told. This is an article by Marta Meese from the Springfield News-Leader, and a couple of key points. The Springfield City Council is accused of violating the city charter when establishing a sales tax oversight board. Violations include the board having too few members, including non-city residents, and not meeting residency requirements. A local residents letter warns these errors could nullify the board's decisions and expose the city to lawsuits. When Springfield City Council established a citizens group to oversee the use of the revamped three-quarter sales tax in early 2025, it violated certain provisions of the city charter. Springfield resident Linda Simpkins sent a letter to Council on Monday, February 23rd, raising questions about the conflicts between the board's creation and the charter, which acts as the city's constitution, and called on Council to determine a path forward in correcting these errors. And what follows is a picture of the Bush Municipal Building. This was taken back in September of 2025. The city's advisory board, known as CAB, was set up as an oversight board to review and determine uses for the half-cent portion of the three-quarter-cent Springfield sales tax approved by voters November of 2024. The group makes recommendations to City Council about how these tax funds, roughly $30 million a year, should be used based on the criteria outlined by the group that weighed in on how the tax should be framed and sent to voters. The Citizens Commission on Community Investment, the CCCI, was the one to suggest to Council that a body like the CAB should be created to oversee the revised and revamped tax in the first place. The resolution establishing the CAB, approved in January of 2025, outlines that the board shall consist of 7 to 11 members and that members must have resided or worked in the city for not less than 1 year immediately prior to appointment. Neither the number of members nor the requirements for appointees align with the charter, however. The charter requires that every city board and commission have at minimum 9 members. City Attorney Jordan Paul recently made a presentation about this portion of the charter to the Plans and Policies Committee in the context of establishing a citizen commission that would oversee campaign finance limits. Paul was also the city attorney when the CAB was established. Additionally, the charter requires that all members of city boards be city residents for at least 2 years and registered voters. The only exception is for intergovernmental boards formed in partnership with an outside entity, such as the Greene County Commission. Paul declined to comment February 23rd about the violations or contents of Simpkins' letter. The next headline reads, Board includes non-city residents, does not meet other charter requirements. Council selected appointees to the CAB from a large pool of applicants. 9 board members initially were selected, but when former Councilman Andy Lear decided to not move forward with serving on the board, the Council did not replace him. That created the current 8-member board, violating the 9-member requirement in the charter, though the resolution's allowance for a 7-member board already violates this provision. In public meetings leading up to the appointments, Council did not discuss charter requirements. Additionally, 2 of the members selected by Council are not city residents. While Aaron DiNastasio and Christina Engel both work within city limits, they reside outside of the city. Simpkins' letter raises concerns that the appointment of non-residents and the seemingly blatant violations of the charter cast doubt on Council's actions and the tax allocations the CAB has recommended so far. Quote, the missing piece is who suggested the inclusion of non-city residents, the reasons, and under what authority, the letter says. The letter also highlights the Council's decision to appoint a chair and vice chair for the CAB, also violated the charter which empowers boards to elect their own officers. Council selected DiNastasio as chair and Rusty Worley as vice chair after Lear declined the appointment. Simpkins' letter warns that the charter violations expose the city to a risk of lawsuits, and if the resolution were to be avoided by the courts, would mean anything the CAB has done thus far could be null and void as well, including the board's recommendation that $30 million in tax funds be set aside for a proposed convention and events center to match a potential state allocation. I'm perplexed at how a foundational element of the city's constitution since its adoption in 1953 was breached, she wrote in the letter. While highlighting potential negative consequences to council members who approved the resolution and the city attorney, Simpkins argues that the greatest damage will come from further diminishing public trust. The CAB was established and its members selected prior to the election of current Mayor Jeff Schrag and Councilman Bruce Adib Yazdi in April of 2025. Simpkins further raises concerns about conflicts of interest among CAB members. In the letter, she notes that both DiNastasio and Leslie Forrester also serve on the Visit Springfield Board of Directors, and that both voted to recommend the $30 million allocation for the convention center, which Visit Springfield has been heavily involved in promoting, along with funding a portion of the consultant study for the new project. Simpkins argues the two should have disclosed this conflict and and recused from voting, as the city's code of ethics for board members states that, quote, no person can serve two masters, nor should he attempt to do so. She also takes issues more generally with the lack of diversity on the board, noting the majority of members have current or prior ties to the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. The concerns came on the heels of questions raised surrounding recent appointments to the Springfield Planning and Zoning Commission. In a letter sent out last week, Simpkins and other local neighborhood residents sounded alarms on the commission being skewed to favor businesses' interests and questioned the qualifications of certain commissioners. The February 23rd letter leaves any resolution in the hands of the council, though Simpkins indicated she would like to see council discuss the matter at a public rather than at closed meetings. City's chief spokesperson, Cora Scott, has told the News-Leader that the mayor notified council members Monday afternoon that he'll be sending a committee referral memo to be reviewed by council at its March 9th meeting in light of questions regarding various boards and commissions within the city. This note to council from Schrag was sent out 10 minutes after receiving Simpkins' letter. And we appreciate you listening to our Blind Community Store radio reading service today and invite you to see us in person with daily deals at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield. Veterans receive a 25% discount every day, providing significant savings as just a token of appreciation for their service. And also take note, the store features a weekly clothing sale where all clothing items are available at 50% off every Wednesday. Seniors age 55 and older benefit from a 25% discount every Tuesday, making shopping more affordable for the senior community.
We have the Springfield Daily Citizen. What's going on at Kansas Expressway in Kearney? By Steve Pokin. It's a picture here of a field. Do you know what is being built at the southeast corner of Kearney Street and Kansas Expressway? Mark Gideon of Springfield. The Sandstone Group, a commercial real estate group based in St. Louis, posted on Facebook December 15th that it's going to be Springfield's first Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. The Facebook post says the 2.38-acre site will include an 8,730 square foot building and is scheduled to open in the second quarter of 2026. This marks the first project to close in our Springfield market expansion. The location is just north of the Mister's Car Wash. Dobbs opened its first store in 1976 in St. Louis, according to its website. It has 97 locations across Missouri, Illinois, Texas, and Ohio, with recent acquisitions of Longview, Texas-based Automotive Supercenter, Columbia, Missouri-based Custom Complete Automotive, and Cleveland, Ohio-based Conrad's Tire Express and Car Care. This is the Answer Man, column number 162 from Steve Pokin. Steve Pokin writes to Pokin Around, the Answer Man columns for the Springfield Daily Citizen. He also writes about criminal justice issues. He can be reached at spoken@springfieldcitizen.org. His office line is 417-837-3661.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, a campaign aims to expand safe after-school options for Ozarks kids. The Boys and Girls Club of the Ozarks has launched its annual Great Futures campaign to support local youth, according to a community announcement. The campaign aims to provide children with the support, safety, and opportunities they need outside of school. Many children in the Ozarks lack a safe and structured environment after school and during the summer, increasing the risk of learning loss and unsafe situations. The next byline reads, campaign seeks community support. Quote, out of school time is one of the most overlooked yet essential components of a child's development. Stoney Hayes, CEO of the club, said in the announcement, it takes both in-school learning and out-of-school experiences to put young people on the right path. Our club is committed to making sure this critical time is part of the conversation. The club offers programs, mentoring, and a safe environment for local youth. Many children rely on the club not only for enrichment, but also for stability, meals, and a sense of belonging. Donations will expand the program access, is the next headline. The campaign invites community members to contribute financially to support expanded access to programs and increased capacity. The club staff and board members see the impact of each donation, noting that children seek safety, support, and someone who believes in them. The club provides these resources, but community support is crucial. The Boys and Girls Club of the Ozarks encourages individuals to contribute to the campaign to ensure every child has the opportunity for a great future. Those interested in learning more or seeing the impact firsthand are invited to schedule a club tour. For more than 32 years, the Boys and Girls Club of the Ozarks has been a constant in the lives of children and families in the community. According to the announcement, the club consisting of 4 units in Taney and Stone counties, Branson, Crane, Forsyth, and Reed Spring, and the programs are aligned with the goals of the respective school districts and are designed to improve academic achievement and expand enrichment opportunities for youth during after-school hours and summer months. The clubs are also part of a referral network for families in need of educational opportunities, service, and resources that might not otherwise be available through state and federal assistance programs. If you'd like more information about the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Ozarks, their website is bgcozarks.org. And if you'd like to donate or inquire about the Great Futures campaign, contact Stoney Hayes at shays@bgcozarks.org or 417-335-2089. And one organization in the Ozarks is raising awareness about hunger all month long by having community leaders take a polar plunge. Christian Action Ministries operates several food pantries in Taney County, and the plunge is just another way to show people in the community that they care. By plunging, community leaders are showing that they can shoulder some of the burden. It's really uncomfortable to jump in the 40-degree weather, Michael Dean, CAM's executive director, said, especially in the winter. But that uncomfortableness is just a small thing that they can do because the pain that people experience in hunger is long-lasting than those few minutes that they plunge. Community leaders are chosen to dive through a fundraiser for the pantry. It recently switched over to a unique model, a client choice pantry type. Pantry staff realized some food would go to waste because the people receiving pre-packed meal bags had allergies, food preferences, or medical conditions. It also gives something back to them that they might have lost. It's just a great way to give dignity back to the people who need assistance, Dean said. And having choice is great because for so many people, choices are made for them or to them. So that ability to make a choice puts a little bit of extra pep in their step. Now, they've been plunging all month long, but today, a dozen more will be jumping. Well, we missed it by just a couple hours. They jumped into Lake Taneycoma this morning at 9 a.m. Our families absolutely love being able to come in and choose the foods, Dean said. Even our community is so proud of the work that the ministry is doing because they recognize that people should be treated with dignity and that just even the choice eliminates so much food waste as well.
So North Glenstone's the Springfield Daily Citizen, North Glenstone CID to fund security and beautification efforts. The Springfield City Council approved a petition to establish the special taxing districts February 9th. It's by Jack McGee. Got a picture here of Whole Hall Cafe, Quality Inn, Jewelry. One of the gateways into Springfield from Interstate 44 will see investments in security and beautifications through a new community improvement district. The Springfield City Council on February 9th approved a petition to establish the special tax district on North Glenstone Avenue while simultaneously authorizing the city to enter a cooperative agreement with the new CID. A political subdivision of the state, the CID will have a life of 27 years and authority to impose a 1% sales and use tax on retail sales within the district, subject to the approval of qualified voters in the district through a mail-in ballot election. The district is comprised of a 48 parcel owned by 33 property owners on both sides of North Glenstone between I-44 and East Turner Street. Combined, the 48 parcels make up a 172.0 acre area. They show a map here. State law requires CID petitions to be signed by real property owners collectively owning more than 50% of the real property by assessed value and by more than 50% per capita of all owners of real property inside the proposed district. The petition submitted to the city clerk contains the signatures of 17 out of 33, or 52% of real property owners who own 62% of the total assessed value of property inside the district, according to the city documents. Bulk of revenues to support security. Recommended for approval by the city staff, the North Glenstone CID is the 22nd Community Improvement District in Springfield, according to Amanda Olsenstein, the city's Director of Economic Vitality. If approved by voters, the 1% sales tax authorized by the City Council would increase the overall sales tax in the district to 9.1%, also comprised of state, county, and city taxes. The bulk of revenues from the 1% sale tax, which is expected to generate more than $1.8 million within the first year, would support security services estimated to cost about $1.5 million per year. Eligible security services include security personnel, training, administration, office rent, vehicle expenses, insurance, and the purchase and lease of security equipment and facilities for the protection of property within the district. Meanwhile, beautification efforts are estimated to cost under $144,000 per year. According to the cooperative agreement, these dollars can be used for lawns, trees, and other landscaping, roads, streets, sidewalks, ramps, alleys, traffic signs, traffic signals, utilities, parking garages, parking lots, and other related sites, off-site improvements, streetscapes, lighting, benches or other seating, furniture, trash receptacles, marquees, awnings, canopies, and walls and barriers. The CID also anticipated about $100,000 in annual costs related to professional engineering, legal, and consulting fees, as well as any other improvements authorized under the state law. In addition, the CID will pay administrative fee equal to 1.5% of revenues to the city for costs incurred to establish the district, review reimbursable project costs and annual budgets, and participate in certain district functions. While established by the City Council, the CID will be overseen by a 5-member board of directors consisting of 4 property or business owners within the district and 1 Springfield registered voter who does not have any financial interest in any property or business in that district. In improving the petition, the City Council appointed the initial board of Bill Hobbs, Director of Operations for Elliott Lodging, which is associated with several properties on North Glenstone, Darren Harrelson, Chief Operating Officer for O'Reilly Hospitality Management, which owns multiple properties in the district, including the DoubleTree by Hilton, Missy Hannisdale, General Manager of the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center located at 2546 North Glenstone Avenue, Gary Leonard, who owns property in the CID through UB Properties, LLC, Cameron Cossard, an attorney serving as the city representative with no financial interest in the district. Future board members will be appointed by the mayor with the consent of the City Council. Tourism Executive, North Glenstone, clearly one of Springfield's front doors, by Corey Collins, an attorney with Hughes Blackwell, who prepared the petition on behalf of property owners, said at the February 2nd public hearing on the proposed CID that many of Springfield's community improvement districts were designed to reimburse infrastructure projects. In contrast, Collins said the North Glenstone CID is completely and wholly, for lack of better terms, altruistic approach to it because all the money is going to be used to improve this existing district. The goals are security and beautification to generally create a more safe atmosphere in the area, clean up, hopefully transition into creating a very nice area for many first impressions folks that come to town, Collins said. Got a picture of Ziggy's Cafe. I think it's a great use of a CID. I think most people would agree. No cost to the city's budget. This is purely going to be borne by people that are using goods and services in the district, and all the money will be poured back into the district. We viewed it all a general win-win. Mark Huckett, President and CEO of Visit Springfield, also spoke in favor of the proposed CID at the February 2nd meeting. Huckett said North Glenstone is clearly one of the Springfield's front doors. With 18 of the corridors, 28 hotels, including 2 key convention centers, North Glenstone also plays a prominent role in Springfield's hospitality industry. Despite the strong lodging and entertainment offerings, the corridor suffers from aging landscape, inconsistent lighting, and visible homelessness, creating a perception gap that impacts visitors' confidence in hotel performance. Hickett said, this creation of a CID through a dictated funding source for security and beautification along Glenstone Avenue will ensure one of Springfield's primary gateways embodies safety, vibrancy, and community pride. While supportive of North Glenstone CID, council members call for oversight of CIDs. Councilmember Monica Horton said she was surprised to learn that the North Glenstone didn't already have a CID due to the type of economic activity that occurs there. By allocating resources to the public safety, Horton suggests that the CID could lighten the load on Springfield's police department, which has recently made targeted efforts to address crime in the area. I don't know what to extent we're still allocating resources for overtime to pay for address those hot spot areas, but to see a shift of resources where folks can pretty much self-use the resources to do some self-governance, I think that would be a value, added, Horton said. While emphasizing his support for the North Glenstone CID, which he described as a great example of how community improvement districts can be used to make improvements in targeted areas that the city otherwise wouldn't have the resources to accomplish. Councilmember Brandon Jensen said at the February 9th meeting that he received communication expressing concerns over the city's oversight of CIDs generally. While this specific project is an example of how CIDs can be properly used, we have seen examples just since I've been on council would utilize these special tax districts to pay for costs that would normally be borne by the property owner, Jensen said. We've also seen some very recent examples, including the Galloway CID and Sunshine Town Center CID, that failed to meet reporting the governance requirements due to the limited oversight ability of the city. There are also a number of examples statewide where the state auditor has found significant abuse of special taxing districts, particularly CIDs, by property owners who have used taxpayers' funds for purely private improvements in violations with the state law. Jensen suggests that the City Council consider how the city is structuring agreements with community improvement districts and how those districts may be amended and reported to align with the state law. Horton also expressed interest in City Council looking into the accountability and oversights of CIDs. CIDs certainly serve a purpose, but to the extent that oversight and preserving the public trust with those public dollars with the levying of the 1% additional tax to say that CIDs, I think that there is a level of responsibility that definitely comes with the council giving this sort of authority to an additional political subdivision, Horton said. Jack McGee is the government affairs reporter at the Springfield Daily Citizen. He previously covered politics and business for the Daily Citizen. He is an MSU graduate with a Bachelor's of Science degree in journalism and a minor political science. Reach him at jmcgee@springfieldcitizen.org or you can call him at 417-837-3663.
Well, a new coffee and food vendor is set to set up shop in Springfield's Library Center. In 417 Foodie News, the Library Center prepares for a new coffee vendor and a buffet offers increased seafood options for Lent, plus who to call for a barbecue emergency. This was originally published on February 21st from the Springfield News-Leader. The Library Center will be getting a new coffee and food vendor. It's a new business, the Golden Goose Cafe, and they posted a coming soon sign to the cafe area of the Library Center at 4653 South Campbell Avenue. According to a job listing for a barista baker at the Golden Goose Cafe, the spot will be baking and cooking from scratch daily. While the library has hosted coffee vendors since its opening in 1999, according to prior News-Leader reporting, the COVID-19 pandemic ended a 12-year run for Mud House at that location, and other vendors like Seattle Roast Coffee and Polymouth Cafe have struggled in that spot, with neither lasting longer than a year. And what follows is a file picture of the Library Center. Buffet will be offering all-you-can-eat shrimp and more seafood for Lent. So whether you're observing Lent or just really enjoy seafood, Golden Corral at 2020 East Primrose Place is offering up all-you-can-eat shrimp and steak, as well as more options from the water. Seafood offerings include seafood cakes, baked fish, bone-in catfish, Cajun breaded fried fish, and lightly battered jumbo butterfly shrimp. And additionally, dine-in guests can add on a lobster tail for $7.99. And what follows is a picture of delicious Golden Corral all-you-can-eat butterfly shrimp and steak, and this will be happening until April 19th. Ozark Barbecue Spot rolls out an enhanced ambulance, that's in quotes, if you've got a fever and the only cure is more barbecue, Uptown Hog has you covered with its ambulance. The kitchen has turned a retired ambulance into a food truck and recently added a service window to the rig. Quote, we're one step closer to bringing barbecue straight to you. Catering, events, and on-site service just got even smoother, and we can't wait to fire this thing up and start serving through the window, a February 16th post said. The ambulance debuted in October of 2025. Now, if you'd like to bring the ambulance to your office or event, call or text Uptown Hog 417-901-0025, or you can email them at info@uptownhog.com. Uptown Hog also serves up brisket, mac and cheese, beans, and more from 14 Mill Market, 203 East Mount Vernon Street in Nixa. The 14 Mill Market location is open from 11 to 8, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they're open 11 to 10, Friday and Saturdays, and they are closed on Mondays. And Springfield's Route 66 businesses are offered funds to refresh storefronts. This also is from the Springfield News-Leader. The West Central Neighborhood Alliance in Springfield has announced a new initiative to support local businesses along historic Route 66, according to a community announcement. The Mother Road Business Curb Appeal Program will offer matching reimbursement funds to businesses looking to revitalize their storefronts. Up to $500 in matching funds will be available, reads this next headline. Approved businesses can receive up to $500 in matching reimbursement funds for exterior improvements. Eligible projects include painting, signage, murals, landscaping, and specialized Route 66 storefront displays for the Centennial, according to the announcement. The program is open to businesses between Kimbrough Avenue and Kansas Expressway. The application period opened on February 20th. Applications submitted by March 1st will receive priority review to ensure storefronts are ready for the Centennial kickoff on April 30th. The celebration to mark Route 66 Centennial is the next headline. And the initiative comes as Springfield prepares to host the national Route 66 Centennial Kickoff celebration. The event will be showcasing hometown pride and the open road spirit that made the Mother Road an American icon, according to the announcement. The West Central neighborhood was home to the Colonial Hotel, where the name Route 66 was first officially proposed in 1926, the announcement said. Quote, our purpose is to unite neighbors and support the entrepreneurs who keep the spirit of Route 66 alive. A WCNA spokesperson said in the announcement, we're excited to work with local businesses to improve our historic neighborhood and promote West Central as the premier place to live, work, and play as we head into the Centennial. And participants have been invited to a block party, which will be taking part in a Mother Road during the 2026 Birthplace of Route 66 Festival. If you'd like more information again on eligibility, or if you'd like to request an application, contact WCNA. Number is 417-569-8866, or their email is rew1215@yahoo.com.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, from West Texas to Springfield with love, Amore Italian opens. Meaning love in Italian, Amore will feature a menu with both classic and new spins. A new Italian restaurant with roots in West Texas opened in Center Springfield in early February. Amore Italian, located at 853 North Glenstone Avenue, opened February 7th. Co-owner Arlette Smith said the restaurant will hold a grand opening celebration later this year. Amore aims to be an authentic Italian eatery in Springfield with traditional plates. Meaning love in Italian, Amore will feature a menu with both classic and new spins. The list of pastas is extensive. Amore will also feature specialty dishes like rack of lamb and aragosta, or pasta with lobster. The menu features an entire seafood section. The idea behind the restaurant's name is simple, Smith said. Basically, the idea of the name is like when people come into the restaurant, we show them how we take care of them, Smith said. How good is the food, the service, customer service, the ambience. And they're all like, oh, so this is what love is. Smith co-owners Amore with her husband, Gustavo Torres. Torres and Smith have partnered with Vinny Jaha to bring Amore to Springfield. Jaha owns two other Amore restaurants in West Texas, Smith said. Torres, the head chef, wanted to come back to Missouri and knew Springfield will be a great location to launch the restaurant, Smith said. The couple moved to Springfield in 2025 to start on the restaurant. The owner signed a 5-year lease in the building that formerly housed Jose Locos before it moved next door, Smith said. Amore is waiting on the necessary liquor license to be approved, but the restaurant will feature a full bar as soon as possible. The Italian eatery will offer plenty of wine options. Amore is open 7 days a week, starting at 11 a.m., Smith said. The restaurant closes at 9 p.m. Sunday and Monday and 10 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. The property that houses Amore is owned by 853 LLC and had just over 5,000 square feet, according to Greene County Assessor's Office records. It was appraised at $676,300, according to the Missouri Secretary of State records. 853 LLC is registered to Annie Wu of Springfield. Ryan Collins is the business and economic development reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Collins graduated from Glendale High School in 2011 before studying journalism and economics at the University of Missouri at Columbia. He previously worked for Bloomberg News. Contact him at 417-849-2570 or email him at rcollins@springfieldcitizen.org.
And Springfield Representative Jeremy Dean has announced he is running for re-election. He announced in a news release yesterday that he'll be running for re-election and represents District 132 in Springfield. He said he seeks to reaffirm his commitment to working families and ensuring everyday Missourians have a voice in state government. When I first ran for office, it was because working families were being left behind while politicians focused on the wrong priorities. Dean said in the news release, too many people were working hard, playing by the rules, and still struggling to get ahead. I ran to be a fighter for them, and that's exactly what I've been doing. Dean aims to continue focusing on policies aimed at affordability, strengthening public education, and addressing Missouri's growing housing crisis. There will be a re-election kickoff event open to the public from 4:30 to 6, March 21st, at the Creamery Arts Center, 411 North Sherman Parkway in Springfield. Dean has been in the news recently as the Missouri legislature sanctioned him over some obscene text to a Representative Cecily Williams. In other news, Highway 3's Ashley Reynolds has accepted a leadership role with Crosslines. Ashley, an award-winning consumer investigative journalist at KY3, has accepted a leadership role at a Springfield-based nonprofit that runs a food pantry, diaper bank, and clothing closet for children. Now, starting on March 2nd, Reynolds will be the new spokesperson and director of development for Crosslines Community Outreach. She'll help launch the nonprofit's new shelter for women in the spring. Reynolds grew up in Springfield, discovered journalism as a student at Hillcrest High School, and has spent the bulk of her 16-year career at KY3, the Springfield area's NBC affiliate. She was executive producer in the face of the news station's On Your Side segment. Acting on tips from viewers, she reported on consumer-focused stories about money, health, and safety. We exposed so many scams, discovered loopholes in the fine print, and chased down a few crooked contractors, said Reynolds in a goodbye video aired during the 6 p.m. KY3 News on February 20th. We hold people accountable and gave a voice to the little guy. My best days were when customers got their money back and when a wrong was made a right. Reynolds will no longer be a full-time reporter, but she will continue to contribute to KY3 by producing a weekly segment on scams for the digital desk. I'm still going to warn you about the latest scams and show the red flags, she said in her goodbye video. And I hope your organization or church invites me to come and speak. I'm offering Scam School for anyone who will listen. Dave Davis built the broadcast journalism program at Hillcrest and its flagship HTV magazine program, which has repeatedly won national awards, and he praised Reynolds' tenacity and commitment to journalism. This was her passion. He says, I tell people you can't go into journalism if you don't have a fire in your belly. It's just not the kind of professionalism you want to dabbleism, he said. You have to be all in. Davis taught Reynolds and kept tabs on her while she pursued a broadcast journalism degree, and they remained close. Quote, she was in the studio all the time, doing everything, learning everything she could, he said. Davis, who spent more than 4 decades at Hillcrest before retiring in 2024, said Reynolds is tender-hearted and the consumer role at KY3 was a perfect fit. Every story she did was a heads up, and here is a way to improve your life. Here's a way to avoid disaster, said Davis, now who is a teacher at Greenwood Laboratory School. That fits her personality. Now, she does have a helping spirit, a caring spirit, and she's just good with people. And people in the Ozarks know that. Reynolds, who will remain in the Ozarks, says it'll be hard to step away from her full-time reporting job, but that she's eager to be home every night with her husband and daughter. Deanna Butcher, who has taught for 7 years at Missouri State University after retiring from Springfield Public Schools in 2015, said her daughter pursued journalism to serve her community. Quote, she loves helping people. She loves talking with people, Butcher said. She still has that passion. Butcher said for all of Reynolds' accolades, she's most proud of her work ethic and love of family. She said Reynolds has been offered jobs in bigger markets, but opted to stay in Springfield. Except for a short stint in Kentucky after graduating from the University of Missouri, Reynolds has spent her entire career in Springfield. She interned at KY3 at age 17 as a Hillcrest student and returned full-time in 2011. She has 4 regional Emmy Awards and is a 2-time winner of the Regional Edward R. Murrow Award. She has more than a dozen awards from the Missouri Broadcasters Association and was lauded in 2018 by the Missouri Police Chiefs Association. Quote, she's very connected and she wants to raise her daughter here, Butcher said. This is a mama's dream to have their kid be a hardworking, successful person who wants to stick around.
So we have the Springfield Daily Citizen. Nearly famous deli and pasta house enhances dinner menu under new ownership. Cheaper alcohol and more dinner options were some of the new owner's first steps. This is by Juliana Goodwin. It's a picture of the owners, Dan and Tiffany Brown. As 2026 rolls in, Springfield's beloved, nearly famous deli and pasta house has reason to celebrate. This fall marks 50 years in the business, and the journey into its 5th decade starts under new ownership. But don't worry, stresses owners Dan Brown, they aren't changing the lunch menu. If it's not broke, don't fix it, he said, seated next to his wife, Tiffany, co-owner. These two have quite a story, which include raising 10 kids. The only changes you'll notice are enhanced dinner menu. They've added appetizers and pasta. Before COVID, they did more business at night and had a chef who left during the pandemic. When the restaurant reopened, they offered the lunch menu in the evening and stepped away from the steaks, but the Browns would like dinner to become its own attraction. Have a picture here with people in their restaurant. They slightly lowered alcohol prices. If you didn't know they sold booze, you're not alone. Brown says a lot of people didn't realize, so he put signs on tables advertising their $4 beers. When he dropped prices, sales increased in the month from $500 to $2,000. Part of this mission now is for people to think of nearly famous deli and pasta house as a go-to in the evening. Already, it's bustling at lunch. He also works to reduce wait times for the tables during the workday rush. A family formed through friendship. Dan met Tiffany when he was married to his late wife, Alicia. Tiffany and Alicia were best friends and had been since childhood. They all lived in Branson at the time, where Tiffany is from. Dan grew up in Crane. Dan had 6 daughters, and when the youngest was 2 months old, Alicia passed away unexpectedly. Tiffany, who had 3 children of her own, offered to help Dan with the kids. I told him, I'm not going to let you do this alone, Tiffany said. There's a picture here with all the kids. They bought a 2-story house in Marionville to accommodate everyone. She lived on one floor, he lived on the other, and in time their friendship and love blossomed. They got married and had a baby together. Now they have 10 children, 8 girls and 2 boys. They also have 10 grandchildren, 8 boys and 2 girls. The Browns still live in a 6-bedroom house in Marionville. Tiffany is an office manager for another business and keeps the books at Nearly Famous. Most of their children are adults now, but they still have a couple at home who are on band and sports, so they stay incredibly busy. The Browns just celebrated their 10th anniversary and snuck off to Texas to see a Dallas Cowboys game. It was a whirlwind, but we had a blast, she said. Despite owning a business, they stressed the importance of making time for each other and family. It's a priority. He started at the restaurant a decade ago. It's a picture of him holding his picture with his menus. Around the time they married, Dan became a server at Nearly Famous. The restaurant was a godsend for him, they said. Typically in the restaurant industry, you make your money on nights and weekends. Nearly Famous is busier at lunch on weekends. It's closed Sunday and Monday. Dan was able to work lunch and be home with his family at night and help Tiffany raise their large combined family. He also fell in love with the clientele and culture. Nearly Famous has multi-generational customers and lots of regulars who start to feel like extended family. I love the small business aspect. I've worked for corporations, and you have 15 managers. Here you can get an answer directly from the owner, he said. He says the restaurant has a cheers-like atmosphere and serves great comfort food. They have 13 employees, are an anomaly in the restaurant industry, which suffers from very high turnover. Donna Hawkins is a server who's been there 36 years. General Manager Joey Slaughter has 22 years under his belt. Other employees ranged from 12 to 20 years old. Dan was there 10 years before Nancy Atkinson, previously Miller, she recently married, wanted to sell. Everything fell into place for them to buy it. The couple credits God for everything aligning. Tiffany said she was nervously initially, but it has been great. Also wanted to have a restaurant, but to start a restaurant is hard. Buying an established restaurant is a lot easier, Dan said. He already knew their regulars and how the business operated. It's fun, Dan said. It keeps us young. Tiffany looked at him, smiled, winked, and said, "We're just getting started." Restaurant with a history in the Queen City. Shows a picture of Nearly Famous Deli Pasta House. Nearly Famous was started in 1976 by Suze Dunville Powell. Atkinson bought it in February 2006. It was originally on Kentwood Avenue near Plaza Towers. Atkinson worked in human resources for a stainless steel company and was losing a job, so I bought myself a job, she said. Atkinson did not have restaurant experience, but she wasn't worried because this was an established spot. Just 3.5 months after Atkinson's opened, a fire broke out and the restaurant closed. Atkinson says she remembers watching a firefighter on his ladder cut a hole in the roof, but she still felt everything would be all right. 3 months later, she reopened it in a current location in the Brentwood Shopping Center, North. Atkinson said there was no words for the wonderful people she met and came to love through the business. "Oh my gosh, what an amazing experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything," Atkinson said. But she fell in love later in life, and her husband encouraged her to do something that wasn't stressful. So in 2025, she sold the business and they moved to Arkansas. "This is my next chapter in life," she said. Her sister still works at Nearly Famous and texts Atkinson's daily when the regulars come in, so she's staying connected. She has no doubt that the new owners will continue the legacy. Dan and Tiffany are good people, and they will be good stewards of Nearly Famous, Atkinson said. "I wouldn't have sold it to them otherwise. Nearly Famous means too much to too many people." Julian Goodwin is a freelance journalist with experience in covering business, travel and tourism, health, food, and history. She is a former food and travel columnist for the Springfield News-Leader, a former business reporter for the Joplin Globe, and has written for the U.S. Today and Arkansas Living magazine, among others. More by Julian Goodwin.
And in MSU news, they are upgrading their system for tickets to games. We see a picture of the Missouri State sign. They'll be moving to a new internet-based system for all tickets sold to events from football games and tent theater productions to area concerts. Patrick Ramsdell, Director of Athletics, said a new internet-based system will be streamlining the ticket buying experience. Quote, "The software will look different. It's web-based. There will be a development function to it. They'll be able to track their donations better," he says. "They'll be able to track all previous ticketing history. It's just a more robust system that will allow both the user and our side of things to be more efficient and more modern." Ramsdell said the system currently in use was originally designed to sell tickets for minor league baseball, not the range of events offered by the university. Quote, "It is not the most robust system for concerts, for the fine arts, for even college football," he said. The MSU Board of Governors voted on February 20th to enter into an agreement for up to 7 years with California-based Pacquiolin LLC. The company touts its integrated system for ticketing, fundraising, marketing, analytics, and data security. Quote, "It's going to take time for everyone to get used to it, but it should allow for a much better, more smooth process for receiving and even transferring tickets digitally," Ramsdell said. Many other venues have already gone down this road, whether Pacquiolin or Ticketmaster. This one will allow us to move into the current generation. Matt Morris, Vice President for Administration and Finance, said 3 proposals were evaluated and Pacquiolin emerged as the choice. They had the strongest technical performance, the most integrated set of solutions for long-term ticketing, marketing, development, and revenue management. And in addition, they provided the lowest per-ticket fee and the most cost-effective solution for the university events patrons. Morris said the per-ticket fee is $1 for patrons. The contract with Pacquiolin is estimated to cost $1.41 million over the 7-year period. Morris said the amount will be derived from the fees collected from patrons through a portion of the purchase price of those individual tickets. Michael Wills, Director of Procurement for MSU, said 4% of ticket sales will also go to the company. The new system launches on June 1st. Asked if the new system is expected to increase ticket sales, Ramsdell said it may because the university will have more details about ticket sales and trends. And from a sales perspective, perspective, it's going to really increase our data so we can hopefully capitalize on that. As I mentioned, there was more MSU news here to share with you. Their collaborative care clinic is offering free care to all comers, and the grand opening of the 17,000 square foot collaborative care clinic, celebrating the availability of multiple clinical services in a centralized location, happened on February 20th. The clinic is located on campus on the first floor of the Ann Kempeter Health Sciences Hall at the northeast corner of Cherry Street and Kimbrew Avenue. There, graduate students from speech-language pathology, counseling, audiology, and psychology provide services to members of the public under direct faculty supervision. Services available at the clinic include counseling, speech-language pathology, diagnostics and treatment, hearing and balance testing, hearing aid services, and psychological and learning diagnostic services, according to a news release from MSU. Interviewed after the grand opening ceremony, Mark Smith, Dean of the McQuarrie College of Health and Human Services, said the building project has been ongoing for 5 years. It's been amazing to see the building come alive this last couple of weeks, he said. The clinic opened its doors on January 26th. It's open to patients of all ages from the university and broader community on weekdays, and services are offered pro bono. Smith said the clinic does not accept Medicaid or do billing, but occasionally there is a request for a donation for counseling services. While audiology services are free, Smith noted that there is a charge for hearing aids and related components. Smith said the clinic offers valuable practical experience for graduate students. Quote, "It's the only way to train people and to teach them," he said. "As long as people are aware of that and are comfortable with that, then that's what this is. You'll be seeing a second or a third-year student in graduate programs." Smith said there are philanthropic programs and options available, among them naming opportunities for some of the spaces in the building. He said the building has been paid for, but a naming level sponsorship or donation goes directly to services, scholarships, and students. If they want to name one of the clinic spaces or the sound booths, or it's a bit more of a seven-figure for the entire clinic, then we are happy to do that, he said. Smith confirmed that the space will be offering more opportunities for research and collaboration. When you're doing research in the way that I think academic research should be, which is the pragmatic research, you've got to do it in a controlled environment. We have that all the way through, he said. Smith said other research facilities on the second and third floor of the building will be opening in September. "I would put us as a leader of healthcare in this region by far," he said of local higher education institutions. "We have come a long way." Smith said the university has offered care for a long time. "We've had them, but less than ideal spacious, very inappropriate facilities, rundown, dilapidated." He said even if it's free, you want them to have the best experience as a patient. "We already know that people struggle, especially the kind of populations we already serve and work with. When clients are fearful of health care, it's important to provide safe, welcoming, comfortable spaces. As a bonus," he said, "students get to see it." Modalities of health do not live independently, he said. If you've got a mental health issue, there's usually a problem or a reason, and the same with speech and hearing. In the collaborative clinic, it's easy to match patients up to other services as a need is discerned. And Smith said the clinic is already a draw for potential students, with 300 to 350 graduate students from master's and doctoral programs going through it each year. The student experience there is second to none in an educational facility, he says. That's what they're looking for. Students are looking for a sense of community, a welcoming place, and a state-of-the-art facility where they're cared for. MSU President Richard Biff Williams spoke at the grand opening ceremony. He said he walked through during one of his first days on campus when the clinic was cement, dust, and stud. He compared the McQuarrie College of Health and Human Services to a rocket ship, both in terms of enrollment and of its service to the community. "It really is an example of what we're trying to do as a university with our strategic plan," he said. Williams said the strategic plan focuses on ways the university can serve the community while offering best practices in teaching people how to be healthcare providers. "Look at our upgraded patient evaluation spaces, play therapy rooms. This is one of the best facilities, I think, to promote interprofessional education," he says. Williams said education is all about student success, and he called the clinic a hub of opportunity. "We're training the healthcare workers for tomorrow," he said. "What a better way to do that in a controlled clinic experience where our experts, our facility, can really observe what our students are doing, critique what they're doing in a positive way, so that when they get out into the field, that they're serving others." State Representative Melanie Stidden, a representative of Springfield, also spoke at the ceremony to commend the university on its collaboration. "Healthcare does not happen in silos," she says. "Hospitals can't solve workforces, challenges by themselves. Clinics can't train professionals alone, and universities cannot educate in isolation." She added that to have access to care tomorrow, it's important to train people here, now, and in our community. This isn't abstract economic development, but practical preparation for real jobs that this Missouri area desperately needs. And that, again, is from the Springfield Business Journal and was an article written by Karen Crago, reporter. Hey, would you like to wrap us up?
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday to Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's sub-carrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a program radio. Thank you for listening.